Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel, and thanks for logging on. Today, we're discussing the Zenith El Primero Annual Calendar Smoked Palladium Dial Boutique Edition. You can see and you can purchase this extraordinary Smoked Palladium Dial stainless steel annual calendar chronograph on our website. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you enjoy these videos, and please click on the card in the upper right hand corner of the screen at any time during this video to see our full sales listing for this watch with additional accessories included in the sale, high-resolution images for your desktop, and naturally complete pricing details for this Zenith El Primero annual calendar. Now, the watch on my wrist was unveiled in 2013 as a boutique exclusive for Zenith factory stores. The timepiece is handsome, unusual, complicated, and value-rich, both in terms of what you get for the money and in terms of the features it packs into its 42mm case. So consider the size of the watch, versatile and contemporary. On my 16cm circumference wrist, the watch is 42mm across the round of the case from 9 o'clock to 3 o'clock, not inclusive of the crown. It's fairly slim, all things considered, at 14.1mm thick, but with a generously sloped and rounded sapphire and bezel edge. From lug to lug, the watch is 50.1mm, so my conclusion is that you could probably wear this watch handsomely and with security on a wrist as small as 14.5cm in circumference. Now, the timepiece does feature a richly appointed strap and clasp combination. You can see it's large scale, light to medium brown alligator leather with a folded edge and a monotone stitch, and a generous twin-trigger actuated, high-polished, double-deployant clasp for security on the wrist, and of course the double-deployant works better on a smaller wrist. As you can see, the twin folding members ensure that there isn't a simple oversized up and over fold like you'll find in a single. That's why I like double fold for a smaller wrist. The twin triggers ensuring that it can't accidentally pop open. It must be positively released. Now, underneath this medium brown strap, you will find not calfskin, as is common in the industry, but a rubber inlay, and this is both extremely comfortable and engineered in the interests of strap longevity. Now, of course, by separating the leather from the oils, the moisture, the heat, and the grit of the wrist, you extend the life of the alligator leather strap, so the rubber pulling double duty, comfort, and longevity. Now, the case is fairly simple but handsome. As you can see, the watch is all of high polish, nicely executed, with rounded case flanks and rounded lug flanks. The reflectivity and optical clarity of this case band is rather remarkable. It's not a generic polish, it's executed to a higher standard. Now, you can see from this angle there's a little bit of a bevel on the edge of the lugs that serves as a worthwhile and crisp transition from the flank, which is rounded, to the top, which is not polished like the flank, but lightly rounded, arced, and satin finished with a directional grain that runs lengthwise along the body of the watch. The bezel is minimalist, slightly sloped, and essentially pared down to maximize the dial, because this is a dial worth maximizing. Now, you'll note there's a lightly sloped metallic ray hot outboard, and then we go inboard and we find the signature feature of this watch, which surprisingly is not the annual calendar complication, but the smoked palladium dial. We're talking Moser aesthetic, so if you've ever loved Moser and C, this is a great example of the same dial presentation and treatment, albeit on precious metal with palladium and at a fraction of the price. Now, it's hard to describe exactly what the color of the gradient fade is. I would say at center, the dial is best described as a sort of metallic silver, and then there's bronze, there's chocolate, there's black elements, maybe even a little bit of violet in the shifting shade at 6 o'clock and 12 o'clock. This is a nuanced dial that really requires first-hand experience and a first-hand encounter to fully appreciate. Let me just say that under $10,000, I don't think you can find a more dynamic and rich dial presentation. Now, all of the Arabic numerals are applied and diamond polished for contrast. You can see the countersunk registers for both constant seconds and chronograph minutes. And then there are apertures for the day, the month, and the date. Now, all of the functions of the date and the month are regulated through the crown. The day you actually adjust by backing the hour hand back through 12 midnight and advancing past midnight several times, each instance advancing the day display by 1 day. Now, the timepiece features a minimally adorned dial for a timepiece that has so many features: automatic winding, annual calendar, column wheel chronograph, and yet it's just automatic, zenith, and annual calendar. So what are you actually getting underneath that spectacular dial? Well, you're getting a Zenith El Primero caliber 4054 29 joules automatic winding with bidirectional action, a 50 to 52 hour power reserve. It beats away, and I may as well start the chronograph here, beats away at 10 beats per second or 5 hertz, 36,000 vibrations per hour. Now this is the signature cadence of the El Primero, and it has been since 1969. But the finish is contemporary. Well, principally machined finished, the blues are true heat oxidized fired blued screws. It's a handsome, colorful, and rich presentation in that you can see everything. You can see the balance, you can see the chronograph driving wheel powered off the fourth wheel of the movement. You can see the chronograph intermediate wheel coming into contact with the center. You can see the column wheel structure as well as the levers and horns that interact with it. Now you can see, we can just jump right back to the column wheel, that it is a beautiful mechanism to watch in action, because so many automatic chronographs show you nothing. You see a winding bridge, a balance, and a rotor, and that's it. The El Primero has depth, different finishes, grain finished, polish finishes. It even has a little bit of Côte de Genève across the rotor, which you can see at this angle, and perlage across the bridges. Handsome, the watch has not one but two types of screws. The blue kind, which denote those screws used for adjustment of the mechanism, chronograph, and civil time telling, and then polished screws, which are used for assembly. All of this with crisp column wheel action. It does feature quick set functions for the dates. It does not feature hacking seconds, as that is not an El Primero feature. 50 meters water resistant. However, this is an all-arounder with solidly more than the 2 to 3 ATM water resistant present in most dress watches. Sporty enough to be your sports watch, handsome enough to be your dress watch, properly sized for a broad range of wrists. I almost forgot the best part: the annual calendar complication in this watch, featuring only 9 additional pieces, engineered by Ludwig Oxlin, the man behind the Trilogy of Time and the Celestial Complications, plus the GMT plus minus perpetual at Ulysse Nardin during the 80s, 90s, and 2000s. A rock star watchmaker building a module on a rock star movement. This is the Zenith El Primero Annual Calendar Smoked Palladium Dial Boutique Edition.